Top 5 Abandoned Places. Welcome to the video, guys. We all love to see the fancy places around, but have you ever taken a look at the places which were once amazingly crowded, but today no one even dares to look at them? From abandoned theme parks to honeymoon resorts, all these places have a history in them. Let's see some of the abandoned places and the reasons for their abandonment. Number 1. North Brother Island, New York, New York. North Brother Island is one of the spookiest places just off the coast of Manhattan that's hidden in plain sight. Now abandoned, the 22-acre island was initially inhabited in 1885 to build a hospital for patients with contagious diseases like typhoid fever, tuberculosis, yellow fever, and smallpox. The Riverside Hospital was home to a typhoid fever patient. The patients were deliberately infected by a woman named as Typhoid Mary Milan after she allegedly infected at least 25 people from 1910 to 1915. She was later quarantined for the rest of her life as punishment. After World War II, the hospital was reopened as a rehabilitation center for drug addicts. But eerie things kept happening. Thus, in 1963, the island shut its doors to human inhabitants and visitors for good. Number 2. Hudson River State Hospital, Poughkeepsie, New York. An eerie patient chair inside the abandoned psychiatric hospital. The Hudson River State Hospital was once an impressively sprawling psychiatric hospital designed by the architects who created Central Park. The hospital remained in operation from 1871 until 2003, when it finally shut down after falling into despair. At the time, the hospital was considered very progressive and offered several modern treatments for the mentally ill, like electroshock therapy and lobotomies. Mental health professionals later realized how inhumane these treatments actually were. Although it is now a historic landmark, as designated by the state of New York, the entire complex is abandoned. Number 3. Pripyat, Ukraine. The Chernobyl disaster is one of the famous disasters in history, which destroyed the Ukrainian town of Pripyat for over 3 decades now. In April of 1986, 50,000 people were evacuated from their homes after what is now known as the Chernobyl disaster. As one of the 4 reactors at the nearby Chernobyl nuclear plant exploded and emitted dangerous radioactive chemicals, high levels of radiation continued to burn the area for around 9 days in a chemical fire. Every living thing died, including the surrounding trees, and the area soon became known as the Red Forest due to the orange pigmentation. Schools and homes have been left to decay in the city. A fairground stands still in the heart of the city, its Ferris wheel frozen in time. People took very little possessions with them as they thought they would soon return, but they never did, and their belongings can be found scattered throughout the buildings. Wildlife has now begun to return. Wolves and black bears run amongst the ghost town. As dangerous and creepy as it all may sound, this chilling city is now a hot spot for tourists. 10,000 people visit Pripyat and Chernobyl each year on short day tours to catch a glimpse of what's left of the area. It may sound like a peculiar vacation, as the area will not be safe for humans to live in for another 20,000 years. Number 4. Penn Hills Honeymoon Resort. Once a beautiful honeymoon resort in the Pocono Mountains of Animal Link in Pennsylvania, unfortunately closed in 2009. It was at its peak in the 60s and 70s. Many upper-class facilities like a ski resort and golf course were the attraction for young couples during the summer. But as holidays abroad got cheaper, fewer and fewer Americans visited. The resort was closed within 2 months of Francis Paolillo's, the co-founder's, death. Employees were never paid, and due to a large debt to the state, the retreat was abandoned. Today, those who wander within the grounds and rooms have captured what's left of the Penn Hills. Eerie sights await those that are brave enough to explore inside. Dead plants wither in rooms, artificial leaves hang off the walls, and a swimming pool stands still with a body of green moss floating on the unearthly waters. Mattresses remain in the rooms without bedding. Lamps, tables, and chairs sit lonely. There are also red, heart-shaped bathtubs, empty and desolate. Vandalism and loneliness are all that is left. Somewhere that brought love to many now lacks any care at all. Number 5. Underwater City of Xixing. This could be the most famous and wanted place to visit, yet it is abandoned. Known as the Lion City, Xixing sits at the foot of a mountain below the waters of Qiandao Lake. The ancient city stretches over 220 square miles and is over 1,800 years old. With keeping all the beauty intact, temples, memorial arches, and ancient statues all lay well preserved 130 feet underwater. With all its glory, it looks like something out of a fairy tale, but this mysterious underwater city faced no accident. In 1959, Xixing was purposely drowned for a hydroelectric power plant. The city vanished, and its rich history was forgotten for 53 years. But today, once again, more and more people are plunging into the deep and uncovering its beauty. The place was found by divers again, and its cryptic engravings and alluring monuments make it a diver's paradise. That is all for now, guys. If you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.